Transactions in transactional analysis. At the heart of transactional analysis, TA, developed by Eric Berne, is the concept that human communication can be understood through the interaction of three ego states: the parent, adult, and child. Every exchange, from a brief greeting to a deep, emotionally charged dialogue, is a transaction, a unit of communication between people. Each transaction begins with a stimulus and is completed by a response. One of the essential goals in TA is to recognize which ego state a person is speaking from and which ego state their message is directed toward. This determines the direction, quality, and emotional tone of communication, whether it becomes constructive, breaks down, or carries a hidden psychological meaning. Understanding transactions allows us to see not only what is being said, but how it is being said, and from which part of the personality the message originates. A transaction is considered complementary when the response comes from the ego state that the initial message was aimed at. This is the most natural, smooth, and harmonious type of communication. When the lines of communication are aligned, the exchange can continue indefinitely without friction. Everyday example: adult, adult. A. What time does the movie start? Adult. B. At 7:30 p.m., I just checked the schedule. The question and answer are both factual and neutral. Both people stay in their adult state. The conversation feels easy and straightforward. Business example: nurturing parent-child. A manager notices a team member is tired. Manager: you've been working really hard this week. Please take a break and finish this tomorrow. Nurturing parent. Employee: thank you, I really needed to hear that. The manager speaks from a caring parent, and the employee responds from a trusting child. The interaction is supportive and emotionally safe. Complementary transactions create clarity, trust, and a sense of mutual understanding. They form the foundation for stable, effective communication in relationships, therapy, leadership, and team dynamics. A crossed transaction occurs when the response comes from a different ego state than the one the message was directed toward. This causes the lines of communication to cross, breaking the natural flow of the conversation. This is the moment when the dialogue unexpectedly shifts into tension, defensiveness, or confusion. Everyday example. A. Do you know where the keys are? Adult, neutral question to adult. B. Why are you always accusing me of losing things? Child reacting to parent. Person A intended a simple, practical adult-adult exchange. Person B heard it as criticism from a parent and reacted from their child. The transaction is crossed and tension appears. Business example. Team lead: can you send me the report by Friday so we can include it in the monthly summary? Adult to adult. Employee: you never appreciate anything I do. It's never good enough. Child to parent. Instead of giving an adult answer, yes, no, or I need more time, the employee responds from a wounded child. The conversation shifts from task coordination to emotional conflict. Crossed transactions often lead to conflict, emotional escalation, misunderstanding, or withdrawal. To restore communication, someone needs to return to their adult and reestablish a constructive direction for dialogue. Ulterior transactions are the most complex and psychologically layered type of communication. They involve two messages happening simultaneously. One, a social, overt message, what is said outwardly. Two, a psychological, covert message, the hidden emotional meaning conveyed by tone, facial expression, implication, or intention. The psychological message usually carries more emotional weight and often determines the real outcome of the interaction. Ulterior transactions are the foundation of manipulation, flirtation, passive aggressive communication, power plays, and psychological games. Everyday example: social adult, psychological child. A. Well, some people manage to be on time. On the social level, it sounds like a comment about punctuality. Adult. On the psychological level, there is a child level sarcasm or hurt. I'm angry and disappointed. B may respond from their child, stop nagging me, or from their adult, you're right, I was late. Let's plan better next time, depending on which level they pick up. Business example: social adult, psychological parent, right pointing arrow, child. Supervisor: are you sure you can handle this task by yourself? Socially, this is an adult question about workload or capacity. Psychologically, it may carry a critical parent message: I don't trust your competence. The employee may feel the need to prove themselves or may shut down, even if the words sounded neutral. A person may speak politely from their adult while underneath sending a provocative parent-to-child message or a playful child-to-child invitation. The true meaning lies not in the words, but in the subtext. In a duplex ulterior transaction, both people operate on two levels at the same time. 4 ego states are active simultaneously, 2 for each person. The social level might look completely adult to adult, while the psychological level is a mutual child-to-child or parent-child exchange. Everyday example: mutual flirtation. A. You always pick the best coffee places. Adult compliment, child-level flirtation. B. Maybe you just like my company. Adult reply, child-level playful invitation. On the surface, it is a simple exchange about coffee, adult-adult. On the psychological level, both are sending and receiving a child-to-child message. I enjoy you, this feels exciting. Business example: playful but still duplex. 2 colleagues with good rapport. A. Look at you closing deals like a superstar. Adult wording, child-level admiration. B. Well, someone has to keep our reputation high. Adult wording, child-level pride and play. Officially, they are talking about performance. Underneath, there is a friendly child-to-child exchange of recognition and playfulness, strengthening their informal bond. Duplex ulterior transactions can feel energizing, intimate, and emotionally stimulating. However, they also easily become psychological games when the hidden level replaces the conscious, overt one, especially if expectations are not shared. An angular ulterior transaction is a special form of ulterior communication in which only one person sends a covert psychological message. The other initially responds only to the overt social part, while unconsciously absorbing the hidden part. The covert message is often aimed at the other person's child. This pattern is common in sales pressure, subtle manipulation, guilt tripping, dominance tactics, and emotionally charged persuasion. Everyday example: subtle guilt. Parent: of course, go out with your friends. I'll just stay here alone. Socially, this is permission, adult or nurturing parent. You can go. Psychologically, it is a parent-to-child guilt message. If you go, you are selfish and I will suffer. The child may feel torn, anxious, or guilty, even if the words on the surface sounded supportive. Business example: sales, competence hook. Salesperson: this is our premium package. Most serious professionals choose it if they really care about quality. On the social level, this is information about a product. Adult. On the psychological level, it sends a hidden parent right-pointing arrow child message. If you don't choose this, you are not serious or professional enough. The client might feel an internal push to prove they are serious and agree to a higher-priced option, not purely from adult analysis, but from a child desire to be seen as competent. The hidden message functions like a psychological hook that pulls the other person into an emotional position they did not consciously choose. Angular ulterior transactions often leave people feeling pressured, subtly manipulated, or not quite themselves afterwards. Being able to recognize which ego state we inhabit and which ego state we address in others is an extremely powerful tool for personal and professional development. It allows us to understand why some conversations feel smooth and satisfying, why others become tense or confusing, where emotional reactions, games, and hidden agendas arise, how we unintentionally trigger certain ego states in others, and how to consciously shift communication back into the adult state. Transactional analysis offers a clear map of interpersonal dynamics. The more we understand the architecture of communication, the more freedom we gain to choose how we respond, rather than react automatically. This awareness enhances leadership and management, coaching and therapy, conflict resolution and negotiation, partnerships and teamwork, self-regulation, and emotional intelligence. Ultimately, understanding transactions helps us build communication that is conscious, respectful, effective, and authentic, both with others and with ourselves. Want to get this presentation for free? Download the full slides presentation completely free. Go to website ai4sci.net.